Hey friend, it's Cristin Candace. Welcome to Shutdown, Not Shaken, a special mini-series of the At Ease podcast. This space is for those of us navigating uncertainty, finding purpose in the pause, and remembering our power when the systems around us stall. Today's conversation might make a few people a little bit uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because I keep seeing a question floating around from furloughed federal employees, and it actually breaks my heart a little every time I read it. Am I allowed to get a part-time job while the government is shut down? Am I allowed to drive Amazon Flex? Am I allowed to do Uber Eats? The very fact that so many people are asking that question tells me that we've internalized something. That permission must come from outside of us. So today, we're talking about what it means to ask forgiveness instead of permission, to reclaim your agency, to choose what's best for you and your family, even when the rules are unclear, the systems are slow, and the answers aren't showing up fast enough. Because only when we go too far will we know how far we can go. So let's start with what is really going on underneath that question. When we ask, am I allowed? What we're really asking is it safe for me to take up space, to make a move, to decide for myself? For many of us, especially as Black women, as federal employees, or as people raised in structured environments, we've been trained to equate safety with compliance. We learned that following the rules protects us, that waiting for approval is going to keep us secure. And in some ways, up until this point, that has been true. Compliance is rewarded in structured systems. It's how we survive bureaucracy. It's how we stay in good standing in our good government job. But what happens when the system stops and you still have bills to pay, kids to feed, goals to meet, and a future to build? That's when waiting for permission becomes a trap. So let's reframe this. Permission says, can I? Power says, I can. Permission waits for the green light. Power moves, even when the light is blinking yellow. And here's the truth. In moments of uncertainty, like a government shutdown, no one is going to come along and hand you clarity. You have to create it yourself. That doesn't mean breaking rules recklessly. It means using discernment, checking your values, your needs, your boundaries, and then doing what's right for you. This is about sovereignty. It's about remembering that your livelihood is not a favor. It's a responsibility, one that belongs to you. And to be clear, regardless of how you feel about what's happening, whether it's right or wrong, nobody gave the administration permission to fire 4,000 people last week and not follow the procedure. There are procedures for reduction in force. Have they been followed? No. And yet it happened anyways. And where's the ask for forgiveness in the courts? Someone has to make them stop. And yet you're still over here begging, waiting for someone to grant you permission to survive. Nobody asked our permission to go through this. No one asked us our opinion about a shutdown or not getting paid or being threatened to not receive back pay. Nobody asked permission. Why are you? If you're a furloughed Fed, I get that this season can feel paralyzing. I get that this furlough can feel maybe even different than those in the past. You're not working, but you're still accountable. Or you are working and still not getting paid. You're told to sit still, but life doesn't stop. And while the paycheck is paused, rent is still due. You still got to eat. Daycare bills don't stop. Can't pull the kids out of daycare to save money because then you're going to lose your spot when the government opens back up. And then you're not going to have childcare. So if you need to drive Uber, pick up freelance work, or start a small side hustle, that's not rebellion. That's survival. It's wisdom. It's stewardship. It's what any leader would do for their household. And as one of my old mentors used to say, the rules are written for order, not for obedience. Sometimes systems forget that they serve people, not the other way around. So when you choose what's best for you, what's best for your family, you're not being disloyal, you're being responsible. And yes, if there's a consequence later, you can navigate that. But the immediate consequence of doing nothing might be worse. Now let's talk about how to move wisely. 3 questions to ground you before you act. Is this action aligned with my values? Does it reflect integrity, care, and self-respect? Is it ethical? Meaning, does it harm anyone or compromise my long-term standing? Is it necessary? Not impulsive, but essential for my stability, my family, or my peace of mind? If the answer to all of those questions is yes, then that's your sign. Take the step, make the move, and trust that if someone needs an explanation later, you can provide one rooted in truth. Because discernment means you're not moving from fear, you're moving from clarity. And to be clear, if you're still making decisions from a place of fear, what if I lose my job? What if I get riffed? What if I don't get back pay? What if I get penalized? To be clear, people who have done none of those things are being harmed. People who have done everything right, who have dedicated 15 plus years of service, who have received 5 out of 5 on their performance 3 years in a row, who have made a huge impact in their organizations, with their teams, with the agencies, with the programs that they run, have been let go. People who have done everything right are no longer here. Doing it right is not going to save you. The furlough is more than a policy pause. To me, it's like a spiritual test of your agency. It's asking, do you remember that you have choices? Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to practice self-leadership. Maybe that means starting that creative project. Maybe it's exploring new streams of income. Maybe it's finally resting without guilt. But whatever it looks like, don't give your power away waiting for permission that may never come. You are still a professional. You are still a provider. You are still a leader. Even when the system goes quiet, you can choose to move. So today, I want to leave you with this reminder. You don't owe the world passivity. You owe yourself presence. You are allowed to take care of your household, your finances, your future. You are allowed to work, to create, to dream, to decide for yourself. If someone ever questions it, you can say with peace, I did what I had to do, with integrity and love. That's what real leadership looks like. So as you move through this shutdown, remember, you don't have to wait for the rules to catch up to your reality. Sometimes you just have to act and trust yourself enough to ask for forgiveness later, if later ever comes. Because the government may be shut down, but your purpose, your power, your bills, and your permission, they're still wide open. And trust and believe, if the government is still shut down, I will see you tomorrow.